For all of human history, we have known only one moon. We have charted its familiar, mottled face in our night sky, its dark patches telling stories of ancient, frozen volcanic seas. But it always kept a profound and fundamental secret from us, an entire other side forever hidden from our view. We simply called it the dark side, mysterious and unreachable, assuming it was a mirror of the face we knew, just more silent, gray rock, ancient, cratered, and utterly still. That assumption was a profound and beautiful error in our understanding because we were not just wrong about the moon's other face, we were wrong about the moon's very nature and its history. And now, we have finally peeled back that eternal veil. China has accomplished what no nation has ever done before. They have softly landed a robot on that forbidden far side, drilled into its untouched soil beneath an alien sky, carefully scooped its ancient rocks into a capsule, and brought those precious pieces back to our world. What scientists found inside has rewritten every lunar textbook overnight. It is shocking evidence of the moon's truly violent, fiery birth, the discovery of miracle materials that should not exist, and the key to the moon's greatest, oldest geological mystery. It reveals our moon is not one single unified world. It is, in truth, two completely different worlds fused together. One side burned with inner fire for billions of years longer, while the other side froze into a cold, silent crypt. Let us journey to that hidden side and see what they saw. Landing on the far side is not merely a technical challenge. It is a famous problem in physics and celestial communication. The moon is tidally locked to our beautiful, swirling planet Earth, spinning at precisely the same speed as it orbits us. This means it always shows us that single, familiar face, while the far side is permanently turned away, a cosmic act of shyness. This creates an impossible problem for any robot we send. As radio waves, our voices to our machines travel in straight lines. If you send a rover behind the moon, the planet-sized rock completely and utterly blocks your signal, resulting in total radio silence where you cannot talk to it, guide it, or command it. This is why the great space powers of the 20th century, NASA and the Soviet Union, never dared to try it. The far side was a permanent, silent, communication dead zone in space. China's solution was an elegant piece of celestial engineering and foresight. First, they launched a special satellite named Qiqiao, Magpie Bridge, parking it not around the moon, but times past times the moon in a delicate gravitational balance point, a Lagrange point. From this unique vantage, it can see both Earth and the far side, becoming a solitary mirror floating in the deep black to bounce every signal over the moon's rocky shoulder. With this silent, robotic bridge finally established in the heavens, they launched their daring spacecraft, the Chang'e 6 mission, toward mystery. Its target was the most dramatic location on the entire lunar surface, the South Pole Aitken Basin, the largest impact crater in the solar system, a wound so deep and colossal it nearly broke the moon apart billions of years ago when something immense struck with apocalyptic force, carving a hole over 1,500 miles wide and 5 miles deep. This is where Chang'e 6 began its final, terrifying descent. For 15 endless minutes, the lander was utterly on its own, as the moon's bulk severed its lifeline to its anxious human guides. It had to use new artificial intelligence to see the killing field, scanning the raging terrain in real time, a maelstrom of boulders, and make its own split-second decisions to avoid catastrophe. And then, a soft touchdown, a perfect landing in absolute silence. It extended its robotic arm, drilled, and scooped the priceless treasure. 53 days later, a capsule fell gently onto the grasslands of Mongolia, inside which were 4 pounds of the universe's most valuable, ancient dust. When scientists first opened that pristine container, their first clue was visual. Look at the moon tonight, and you will see those dark gray patches we call Time's Maria asterisk, the Latin word for haunting, poetic seas. They are not water, but gargantuan frozen oceans of ancient lava. Billions of years past, volcanoes erupted on the side facing Earth, flooding vast landscapes with rivers of black basaltic rock. But the far side is almost completely devoid of these dark seas. It is pale, stark white, brutally rugged, a testament to endless bombardment. Why? Why did one hemisphere melt while the other stayed solid? This question, called the lunar dichotomy, is the moon's greatest riddle, and the Chang'e 6 samples have just handed us the definitive answer. The answer lies in a strange heat-producing radioactive chemical soup, a blend of potassium, rare earth elements, and phosphorus, nicknamed creep. This elemental cocktail acts like a natural, planetary-scale electric blanket, generating immense, lingering heat deep within the moon's rocky body. The Apollo samples, all from our familiar near side, were full of it. They were hot, geologically active, and thin-skinned for billions of years. But the new samples from the hidden far side are strikingly different. They are clean, pristine, and almost completely devoid of that radioactive creep. This confirms a once wild theory about our moon's lopsided, asymmetrical interior. Billions of years ago, all those hot, radioactive elements gathered on one side, huddling together beneath the crust of the hemisphere facing Earth. They cooked that crust from within, thinning it out over eons and allowing volcanoes to rupture the surface again and again. The far side, however, was left in the deep, cold cosmic freezer. Without that internal heater, its crust froze solid incredibly early, forming a shell perhaps 20 miles thicker than its fiery twin, a shell so strong that no lava could ever punch through. So, while one face of the moon glowed with rivers of fire, the other face became a frozen, silent, cratered wasteland of pure white. The moon is not a single, unified world, but a geological hybrid. Two completely different planetary histories glued together by gravity and time. But the chemical surprises within that soil become even more incredible. Imagine the humble graphite inside an ordinary, everyday pencil for a moment. Now imagine you could peel off a single atom-thin layer of it. That miraculous two-dimensional sheet is called graphene, a wonder material 200 times stronger than the finest grade of steel, conducting electricity better than copper and nearly transparent. On Earth, we manufacture it in expensive, high-tech laboratories with lasers. It does not simply form on its own in nature, or so we thought. Chinese scientists analyzed the lunar soil with powerful electron microscopes, and nestled within the ancient moon dust, they found it. Natural graphene, flakes just 2 to 7 atoms thick and perfect in their hexagonal structure. How does a human-made super material form naturally on a dead airless rock? The theory is as violent as the moon's own scarred surface. The moon has no protective atmosphere to shield it from bombardment, so it is constantly rained upon by the solar wind and by meteorites. When a meteorite strikes, it creates insane pressure and heat instantly. This instantaneous shock wave acts like a celestial hammer and anvil, violently compressing stray carbon molecules in the lunar soil together and forging them in a split second into perfect crystalline graphene sheets. The moon, it seems, is a natural cosmic nanotechnology factory, hammering the raw element of carbon into a technological miracle. This discovery changes the entire paradigm for building a future there. If we establish a moon base, we need not bring everything. We could potentially harvest super strong building materials from the dirt itself and extract conductive elements for wiring and electronics on site. The lunar soil is not just inert dirt, it is a sophisticated resource. And Chang'e 6 also verified the most violent chapter in lunar history. We believe a Mars-sized planet named Theia smashed into infant Earth, and the epic fiery debris from that collision coalesced to form our moon. If true, the newborn moon would have been entirely molten, a liquid orb, a global sloshing, churning ocean of magma floating in the black void. As it cooled, heavy crystals sank, and light crystals floated upward in a process called differentiation, a theoretical model until now. Chang'e 6 proves it. The rocks contain a mineral called anorthosite, which can only times form by floating to the top of a magma ocean. This confirms, definitively, that the entire moon was once a sea of fire, meaning the moon is not a captured asteroid but Earth's own child, made of our planet's own material, melted and reborn in space. But Chang'e 6 did not just scratch the surface of the far side. It touched the very soul of the moon, its deep, rocky interior. The South Pole Aitken Basin is 5 miles deep, a colossal puncture wound. This impact was so violent it punched clean through the lunar crust, excavating material from the deep mantle and throwing it onto the surface. The samples contain heavy green crystals like pyroxene and olivine, minerals that belong dozens of miles underground in the mantle. Finding them on the surface is like finding gold nuggets on a beach, giving scientists the first ever direct look inside another world. We are not just looking at the moon's skin anymore, but at its organs. And perhaps the most paradigm-shifting discovery of all was something wet. For decades, we were taught the moon was bone dry, a total desert with Apollo astronauts bringing back dust drier than the driest place on Earth. But China's missions have completely and utterly shattered that old idea. In the Chang'e samples, they found a new mineral, Chang'e, a hydrated salt, a crystal with water molecules trapped inside. This is not just ice hiding in a permanently shadowed polar crater. This is water, locked inside rocks, sitting in direct, blazing sunlight. Where could it possibly have come from? The answer is meteorites. The samples contain fragments of rare, carbonaceous chondrite space rocks, cosmic water bombs rich in water and organic compounds. The moon has been collecting these gifts from the cosmos for eons, and with no wind or rain to wash them away, the water remains. The water is also stored in another, even more surprising place. When meteorites hit, the intense heat melts rock into tiny droplets that cool in midair, hardening into microscopic glass beads. The lunar soil is absolutely filled with these tiny, glittering spheres, and Chinese scientists found these beads are also filled with water. The solar wind constantly blasts hydrogen atoms at the lunar surface, and this hydrogen bonds with oxygen inside the glass, forming water molecules. The glass beads act like a vast collection of microscopic storage tanks. China estimates these beads alone could hold a volume of water comparable to a massive earthly lake like Lake Tahoe. The extraction method is beautifully simple. Just heat the beads, and the water inside would simply steam out, ready to be collected. This is the absolute key to long-term survival on the moon. We would not need to bring all our water from Earth, but could, quite literally, harvest it from the soil beneath our feet. Water is vital for life, but the soil holds something else valuable, something that could be worth trillions of dollars: helium-3. Helium-3 is often called the holy grail of fusion energy, a rare isotope that could power clean, limitless reactors. Earth has almost none, as our magnetic field shields us from it. But the moon has been soaking it up from the sun's wind for over 4 billion years, accumulating it in the soil. The Chinese samples confirmed its presence within their new mineral. China has explicitly stated they are interested in mining the moon. They are not just there for pure science and discovery alone, but to survey and understand the available resources. Conservative estimates suggest 100 tons of lunar helium-3 could power the entire electrical needs of Earth for a full year, and the moon may hold upwards of 1 million tons of it, representing thousands of years of clean, potential energy. If it can be extracted, the moon becomes the Persian Gulf of the solar system. The timeline of the moon itself has also been completely rewritten. Apollo taught us the moon's volcanoes died 3 billion years ago. But China's earlier Chang'e 5 mission delivered a stunning shock. Those samples from the near side were only 2 billion years old, meaning the moon's volcanic heartbeat for 1 billion years longer than we knew. Now, Chang'e 6 provides the contrasting data point from the far side. These new samples are older, roughly 2.8 billion years. The picture is now beautifully, tragically clear. The far side cooled first, dying an early geological death frozen in deep time, while the near side, kept warm by its radioactive creep blanket, lived on, clinging to volcanic life for an extra billion years of fire. So, what will China and the world do with this profound knowledge? They are not merely writing academic papers for scientific journals, but actively building a detailed map and a concrete plan. China has announced the International Lunar Research Station, ILRS, with the goal of a permanent crewed base at the South Pole. They now know where the water and the potential energy are, and by landing on the far side, they prove they can operate anywhere. This mission was not a publicity stunt or a simple flags and footprints moment, but a sophisticated geological survey of our nearest celestial neighbor. They were checking the cosmic backyard to see if we could build, and the answer, according to the samples, is a resounding yes. China is not, of course, the only one looking at this map. The United States, through NASA's Artemis program, sees the same landscape. Both have identified the lunar South Pole as the prime destination. Specifically, a crater named Shackleton is the most coveted real estate, its rim having near-permanent sunlight for solar power and constant warmth, while its shadowed interior may hold vast, permanent deposits of water ice. It is, quite literally, an oasis in a global, frozen desert, and whoever controls that crucial oasis may control the entire frontier. We are heading for a celestial traffic jam of historic proportions. Unlike the 1960, we are not going just to plant a flag, but with the intention to build houses and to stay. And there are only a few truly viable spots to settle, though the new discovery of water locked in glass and rocks might ease that tense competition, as water may be almost everywhere. The race is no longer just for glory, but for the very keys to our future beyond Earth.